Shadowed Battlegrounds presents The Viper's Tune, Rome Beckons. Chapter 4. The Showdown. Victor watches Aleska disappear into the crowd, his mind racing. The weight of her words lingers. He knows she's not bluffing. Vaxxion has indeed set the stage for a confrontation, and it's only a matter of time before the trap is sprung. Victor steps out of the club, the cool night air hitting him as he walks into the narrow streets of Budapest. The moon hangs low, casting long shadows as he contemplates his next move. He's ready for what's coming. He has to be. As Victor walks through the narrow streets, the air grows colder, and the feeling of being watched intensifies. He knows Vaxxion's spies are lurking in the shadows. Suddenly, a figure steps out from the mist, a man in a long, dark coat with eyes that gleam with malice. The spy stands between Victor and the path ahead, clearly intending to block his way. Victor narrows his eyes, knowing this confrontation was inevitable. Victor doesn't hesitate. In a swift movement, he rushes toward the spy. The clash is fast and brutal, their figures moving like shadows in the dimly lit street. Victor's vampiric strength gives him the upper hand, but the spy is skilled, trained by Vaxxion himself. The sound of fists and the crack of pavement echo through the narrow alley as Victor gains the advantage, throwing the spy against a wall with force. The spy struggles, but Victor holds him firm, his eyes burning with intensity. "Tell Vaxxion I'm coming," Victor growls, his voice low and dangerous. Victor releases the spy, who slumps against the wall, defeated. Without a word, Victor turns and walks away, his thoughts already on the next step. He knows this was only a small piece of the larger puzzle, and Vaxxion is still waiting. The moonlight casts long shadows as Victor disappears into the night, determined and resolute. Budapest's narrow streets seem quieter now, but the tension lingers. This was just the beginning. As Victor navigates the winding streets, he feels the pull of the impending confrontation with Vaxxion. His thoughts drift to Pamela and the complicated history they share. He knows she'll play a role in what's coming, whether as an ally or a threat remains to be seen. The streets grow quieter as he nears his destination, an ancient, crumbling church on the city's outskirts. This is where the next phase of his mission begins. Victor steps into the church, the heavy wooden doors creaking as they close behind him. Inside, the air is thick with dust and the scent of age. Faded murals and broken pews line the hall, and moonlight filters through the cracked stained glass windows, casting eerie shadows. In the center of the room stands Pamela, her red hair illuminated by the moon's glow. She looks up as Victor enters, her expression unreadable. "You've come," she says softly, her voice echoing in the empty space. Victor nods, knowing the next part of his mission hinges on this encounter. Victor steps closer to Pamela, his gaze steady. The tension between them is thick, filled with unspoken history. "We don't have time for this," he says, his voice low but firm. Pamela's eyes narrow slightly, but she doesn't argue. "Vaxxion won't wait," she replies, her tone measured. They stand in silence for a moment, each knowing the weight of what's coming. Then, without another word, they turn toward the far end of the church, where the next phase of their mission awaits. The confrontation with Vaxxion is inevitable. The heavy doors of the church creak open, and a cold gust of wind rushes in. From the shadows emerges Vaxxion, his silver-streaked hair catching the moonlight. His presence is commanding, and his eyes gleam with a dangerous confidence. "So it has come to this," he says, his voice smooth and calculated. Victor and Pamela stand firm, ready for the inevitable confrontation. The ancient church now feels like a battleground, the air thick with anticipation as Vaxxion steps closer. The air crackles with tension as Vaxxion steps closer, his eyes locking with Victor's. "You think you can stop me?" Vaxxion sneers. Victor, unwavering, steps forward, his voice calm but firm. "This ends tonight." Pamela moves beside Victor, her gaze sharp, ready for whatever comes next. In an instant, Vaxxion moves, the battle igniting within the ancient walls of the church. The clash is fierce, with the sound of shattering glass and crumbling stone echoing through the hall. Moonlight bathes the scene as Victor and Pamela fight side by side against Vaxxion's overwhelming power, determined to end his reign once and for all. If you like this story and want to see more, click on the icon top left. If you want to help support our channel, please hit the subscribe button on the top left. If you have a good history idea, let us know in the comments. Thank you.